So, you guys remember that one episode of Dragon Ball where Krillin and Gohan were doing that little mental battle thing instead of like fighting with their physical bodies? Well, Deku and Shigaraki just did it. Oh wow, so good morning pizza people and welcome to chapter 287 of My Hero Academia. And I'm a floating talking pizza that likes to show a lot and it obviously needs to be explained, okay? And one thing I want to say first off is that this chapter obviously isn't trending and it's not getting as much traction as the others, but it's honestly just as important as any chapter we've seen so far in the anime and manga. Because the huge thing about this chapter is that it feels like a stopping point and almost like a transitional point between this huge battle that we've been having for like the past 12 weeks almost between Deku and Shigaraki and the other heroes, bro. And it almost gives us a little bit of insight into like how the One For All users see how Deku is like going full on rage mode and just being an over like reckless hero, and how they truly feel about him, if they feel if he's misusing the One For All power at all. That's exactly why this chapter is so amazing to me, and so without further ado, let's get into it. So to begin off, right, this chapter feels like a very large transitional point, as I had mentioned earlier, because a lot of this chapter has to deal with the fact of what's been going on with the One For All users. How do they fully think of Deku, and what the hell, how are they able to talk and come back like Force Ghost almost, right? And all of that gets explained. And so at the end of last week's chapter or whatever, when you saw like Nana Shimura coming out to battle All For One or whatever, because he was over there intimidating Deku and like just basically trying to take his quirk full on, right? And it's really cool to see this, because it was almost like, man, Deku might not have hope now. Like Shigaraki's getting pretty close to taking his quirk, and to see Nana Shimura come out at the end was a really important part for me. And so Nana Shimura comes out, right? And so they begin having a conversation with All For One taunting her and being like, haha, I killed you. And then he goes into this whole little rant and monologue talking about the fact that, you know, when I take people's quirks, it tends that I have nightmares for them weeks and weeks after weeks. But when I tend to get rid of their quirks afterwards, seemingly the nightmares just stop. And so this is where like All For One goes into the explanation that each and every quirk is not just like a power to them, right? Every quirk carries like their soul and consciousness with them. So if you take that quirk and you kill that person, you're taking a piece of them as well. So this is a huge explanation to why all the All For One users quirks are like still within Deku, and with the reason why they're able to come back, talk, and give him guidance like some sort of avatar state. So shout out Horikoshi for that, right? Because for the longest time, I think a lot of the fandom was just gonna straight up and accept it, but Horikoshi was like, nah, I'm gonna give a full-on explanation so nobody has any questions later on when I finish this stupid manga. But afterwards, right, we get like a full-on interaction between Shigaraki and his grandmother, Nana Shimura, bro. And it's honestly kind of sad to see, bro, because Nana Shimura is just staring at Shigaraki and he's like, rest assured, I hate you, okay? Like, I don't love you at all. And he reminisces about looking at a picture of his dead grandmother, and man, it's just a really sad thing to see. And then afterwards, when All For One or whatever is taunting Nana Shimura about how Shigaraki said that he hates her, right? Shigaraki kind of has a little bit of pullback from All For One as well, and then All For One, he's completely in control of the situation, because he's like, oops, I nearly forgot, you hate me too, and he starts laughing, bro, almost like he's enjoying it, and he says, all the better. How fitting for the symbol of terror, bro. And it's crazy to me, because man, this dude doesn't care as long as he knows that he has Shigaraki completely in his control. And this might play in later, because I feel like maybe Shigaraki might betray him in order to gain his own goals. But at the end of the day, I feel like All For One knows that no matter even if Shigaraki says he's not under his control, that Shigaraki is under his control. And so after this part, this honestly becomes almost like a more so interesting part of the chapter for me, right? Because after this moment where All For One is gloating and they're just basically force pushing each other backwards or whatever in order to fully take the power of One For All, Basically, the original One For All user, All For One's brother, comes out of hiding, bro. And it's cool, bro, because it's like, wow, this isn't just like a figment of Deku's imagination that he's making up in order to fight All For One. This is dead serious to consciousness, and they're getting to talk to each other. And so the original One For All user comes out, and he's like, so he's the one next in line, huh, brother? And then they go into this whole dialogue of good versus evil. It's a shame you could never be mine, and we would never go with you. And it's so dope to me, bro, because All For One, like during this little argument between him and his brother or whatever, bro, he's going on a rant about how Deku's a garbage like user of the power, and how Deku is just a waste, and how you guys wanted somebody that could be like good, but Deku's even using the power for rage and evil himself. Not even evil, but it's more so just rage and lashing out and using it without like being calm. And the whole time, bro, Deku's just sitting here listening to this, bro, like, while All For One is just roasting him, bro. It's kind of funny. And he's just going in on how Deku himself is even raging, like, as if he was an evil person. But needless to say, right, the original One For All user defends him. He's like, listen, this young man, he's not evil, okay? He's not raging out. The reason he's even mad in the first place is because he just wants to protect the people he loves. This is not for selfish reasons. We didn't choose the wrong user. This is our power, and we shall follow him and give it to him to our maximum extent, okay? Like, they're hyping up Deku, bro, because they know that Deku isn't being selfish. Deku is doing this for everybody. Like, the power is supposed to be one for all. He's giving his 100% all to these people, and that's why they're not mad at Deku for using the power in the way he has been, recklessly and going all out. So for all the questions people have been having, like maybe Deku will lose control, maybe One For All will like stop working for him because he's evil, that has all been squashed right here. And I kind of ad-libbed it a bit, right? But the way this dream sequence ends is in the best way possible. The original One For All user says, this young man is possessed by a drive to save others that eclipses all common understanding. Our power is his, and we shall follow him. Now tell me there's nothing wrong in that, bro. Tell me, okay? Because honestly, I have never seen a manga just snap week after week like this, bro. Horikoshi's putting straight gas out there. And right when the original One For All user says this, Deku is able to finally move in that dreamscape. And it's almost like he's really taking the power back. And this is giving Deku a second to like calm down, sit back and think, okay, I need to do this, this, and that. And like just to calm down after all the pain and anguish that he's been doing the last couple of chapters. And so after this, right, Deku and Shigaraki kind of blast off of each other, and Deku's like, did he steal it? And then Deku's like, no, he couldn't. And it's just like Deku looking at the beating up Shigaraki, and he's like, please, Shigaraki, don't start moving, right? And Shigaraki's thinking to himself how he has to like escape and chill and fall back a little bit, bro, because they're both injured, and let's be honest, neither one of them can keep fighting for this long. And this is kind of where the whole segment of like Deku and Shigaraki ends, because then we move over to Toga, Dabi, and Magician Dude, and it's really interesting, right? Because they have this whole little like dialogue about how they should tear down Hero Society and how they're ready to just like run through everything, right? And then we finally get a little bit more of Toga's like character moments after Twice's unfortunate death, right? Because the Magician Dude, he's like, hey, we know where those heroes are. Like, are you gonna be fine talking to them? Because Toga, you seem like you're kind of tweaking right now. And then she goes in this dialogue of where do they draw the line? Like, if heroes are supposed to save people, why'd they kill Twice? Will they kill me too? And that's the reason she is like in such a beef with like Uraraka and Deku, because at the end of the day, people want to know, are these people really heroes? And that's the only answer that Toga wants, like the answer to, bro. And so she ends the chapter with saying, that's all I want to ask Izuku and Ochako. Will they kill me? Are they truly heroes? And depending on their answer, she'll be fine, bro. And that's exactly how the chapter ends, bro. It's a hella deep chapter. We get a lot more information, not as not as action based. It's a lot more dialogue based. So that's maybe why the chapter isn't as trending and as huge as it is usually every week. But overall, bro, this was a pretty good chapter, bro. We learned a lot, and I hope I was able to explain it all for you pizza people. Honestly, I give it about a 9 to 8 out of 10, pizza people. Thank you, Horikoshi, another banger in the books. And so without further ado, my name is Tine Pizza. I'm anime pizza that talks about anime and manga, and I have a lot more My Hero videos that you guys should check out down in the description below. And so this has been My Hero Academia chapter 287, and we move.